Hi, and welcome to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3782, and today's date is November 25th, 2025, and the title of the episode is The Fake News Central Bank Are Losing the Economic Narrative. The boom has just started. Let's talk about protecting our wealth. Retirement is getting harder to reach. Inflation and currency devaluation are eating away at our savings every year. That's why smart investors are turning to Bitcoin, not as a gamble, but as a global hedge backed by major funds, banks, and even government quietly stacking digital assets. After reaching an all-time high of 124,000 in October, Bitcoin has pulled back. Many see this as a perfect opportunity to invest before the next uptrend. When you invest with My Digital Money, you get US-based support and secure offline storage, so your crypto stays protected. You can even open a crypto IRA or roll over your existing 401k to enjoy valuable tax benefits. Don't let inflation steal your future. Protect and grow your digital assets today with MyDigitalMoney.com. MyDigitalMoney.com, smarter investing, safer storage, and better path to retirement. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private central bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see they're doing pretty much the opposite of what they were doing with Biden. As inflation was picking up with Biden, as fuel prices were moving up with Biden, what did the fake news do? What did the central bankers do? They came out and they said, listen, everything that you're experiencing is your imagination. What we're seeing is the economy strong. Everything looks great. They're actually doing the opposite right now, and they're trying to convince the people that things are getting worse as they are getting better. Remember, the high prices in the market are a leftover from the Biden administration. Remember, inflation doesn't go away. Yes, can Trump mitigate it? Can he lower fuel costs, which lowers the delivery price, the cost to get the items into the store and production? Absolutely. But the inflation that Biden created, and every person before him, it doesn't go away. It is cumulative. There are ways to mitigate it, of course. But again, this is what everyone's experiencing. But you could see Trump has brought inflation way, way down. And as the fuel prices continually drop, what we're going to see is people are going to become more and more comfortable. And that's what people are experiencing right now. And I do believe this is really going to take off in the year 2026. Now, of course, during the Biden administration, people saw 7%, 8%, 9% inflation. We saw fuel prices going all the way up to $4, $5, $6, depending on where you lived. So at that point in time, the fake news, the central bankers were trying to convince everyone that everything was fine. But the people, they knew. They knew exactly what was going on, just like the people know now. When they go to buy their Thanksgiving dinner, they're realizing, wow, it's a lot cheaper. When they go to fill up their car, they're realizing, wow, it's a lot cheaper than when Biden was in office. That's what people are noticing right now. And you really can't gaslight the people. It's kind of impossible. And as the entire economic system gets better and better and better, it's going to be more and more difficult for the deep state players to do this. And you can see the Fed, they are way behind everything that is happening right now. Trump is leading the way, and they're behind the eight ball. Adam Kobisi put this out and said, ironically, it looks like President Trump's call for rate cuts in March 2025 came at the exact top of the labor market. The Fed is now behind the eight ball on both inflation and the labor market. Absolutely. And you can see the Fed has always been behind the eight ball. First of all, the Fed is not here to improve the economic system. The Fed is here to help themselves. They don't care what happens to the people. They don't care if the entire system crashes. They don't care about that as long as they're making their money, as long as they stay in control. And what's very interesting is that Trump is now showing the people, look, during the Biden administration, and during that time, the Fed was going along with everything that Biden was doing because they're one and the same. You could see that inflation was very, very high. And the fake news, the central bankers, what did they really say about it? Not much. And Trump put this out on Truth. He said, the chart below shows a clear chronological pattern. Trump 1.0. Almost no inflation. Biden, runaway inflation. And when you look at the chart, you can see that during Trump's first term, his inflation was around 1.9% on average. When you look at Biden, the inflation hit 9%. Now remember, the inflation doesn't go away. His average, by the way, was 5%. Inflation doesn't go away. It just adds to the already existing inflation, which means it's a devaluation of the currency. Trump has brought the inflation down to about 2.7% right now. And basically, he has slowed it down quite a bit. And as he slowed it down in Trump 2.0, we can see that he's also bringing fuel prices down, which is actually assisting the people. Now, people are really going to see a very, very big difference as we go into 2026, because when the tax cuts take effect and people go to file their taxes, people are going to go, holy crap, I'm getting this refund. I'm getting this back. I don't have to pay these taxes, especially those people that get tips, those people that get overtime, and those people that get Social Security. So people are going to see a very, very big difference. And the middle class is going to see a very, very big difference in their taxes, which is actually going to assist the people in living a better life. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But again, you got to start somewhere. And as time goes on, and as we go through 2026, what we're going to see is the economy is going to get better and better and better. We're going to see fuel prices come down even more so because, once again, the leases are now taking effect. Oil companies will be able to drill. It's going to drive the prices down. And this is going to make it easier for people, and it's going to make it much easier for manufacturers because they're going to have a lot of cheap energy. If you have a lot of cheap energy, what can you do? You can produce the products cheaply. You can then ship the products cheaply. So we're going to see everything about to change as we move forward, just like we're seeing it all change with the alternative currencies. Remember, the deep state, the central bankers, what they're going to do over time is they're trying to cover up their failing system. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to keep gold, silver, Bitcoin as. Let's talk about our health. In recent clinical trial this year, women who took 2.5 grams of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks saw an average of 25% reduction in eye wrinkle depth, 9% improvement in skin elasticity, and 29% book in skin hydration, proving collagen can visibly strengthen and rejuvenate skin from within. This is why I use today's sponsor, BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen, and I'm obsessed with the results it's given my skin. BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen helps supercharge my skin health using 5 premium types of collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. I've noticed smoother skin, more elasticity, more hydration, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, it also helps improve my joint health, bone strength, and connective tissues on top of my skin health. For a limited time, you can grab a bag of BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen for 51% off only at healthwithx22.com. Plus, you'll also receive free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free express shipping with your order. Once again, go to healthwithx22.com to get this deal now, or just click the link in the description. Far down as possible. They've done this in the past. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is that they're losing control over it. And if you notice, gold is continually moving up. Yes, they're able to bring gold and silver down. They're able to bring Bitcoin down. We saw that just happen last week. Bitcoin now is starting to march back up. Gold and silver, they're starting to march back up. It doesn't mean there's not going to be fluctuations. Of course there are. And I wouldn't be surprised if the central bankers, the deep state players, try to hit gold and silver and Bitcoin once again. But again, it's not going to work because when people see what's really going on in the economy and they see the fiat currency continually losing value over time, the people, they understand where they need to put their currency or transition their currency, because really that's what you're doing. You're taking a currency, which is the fiat currency, which is losing value every single day, and you're actually putting it into a currency that is gaining value every single day. And when you start to look at the purchasing power, let's say of Bitcoin, for example, and Bitcoin Magazine put this out, since 2020, the US dollar has lost 20% of its purchasing power, while Bitcoin has gained over 900%. I think that tells you everything you need to know right there. And it's the same thing with gold if you really think about it. And I do believe gold has not even hit the part where the point where it really needs to hit, because I do believe the gold value is way, way higher than 4,000. Because you have to remember, I do believe what Trump and the Patriots are doing, they're actually waiting for gold to continually move up and up and up. And eventually what they're going to do is they're going to revalue gold. And when they revalue gold, it's not going to be a 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I do believe it's going to be much, much, much higher than that. And I do believe that is going to put a lot of pressure on the fiat currency. But again, you don't want to do that too soon. You want to do it when the time is absolutely right to show the people that it's time to move away from the fiat system. Do you do it in the very, very beginning, or do you wait to the end? And that's when you show the people the true worth of the fiat currency. And I do believe this is what Trump and the Patriots are waiting for. And by them revaluing the gold, they're also going to audit the gold reserves. And when people start to put two and two together, you're going to see higher gold prices. You're going to see a lot of gold, which is also going to bring up silver. And I think this is going to change everything. Actually, this is going to enable the United States to go back to the Constitution. I do believe that's what Trump and the Patriots are planning to do. And yes, he's going to be using stablecoin. He's going to be using the crypto market, because I do believe in the end, when people start to realize what the fiat currency is really worth, I think you're going to see Bitcoin and golds really start to skyrocket. And again, you have to remember, people, they're really looking at gold because gold has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Silver has been around for thousands of years. And when you tell the people of this country, the people of the world, that gold and silver, they're much, much higher than they're being reported, that's when people take notice. That's when people say, okay, there's a problem in the system. The fiat currency is not that worth that much, which is actually going to drive gold, silver, and Bitcoin way, way up, because people are going to recognize this. And once we're at that point, I do believe Trump will be able to push the narrative into bringing us back to the Constitution. And yes, just like Andrew Jackson, Trump will pay off the debt just like Andrew Jackson, one way or another, unless he audits the Fed and finds a lot of criminal activity, which I think he's going to do anyhow. And I think what we're going to find out is that we don't owe as much debt as everyone thinks we owe. And I think a lot of it was done through criminal activity, not just with the Congress people, but also within the central bank structure. I do believe once we find this out, I think people are going to start to realize that we really don't owe that much. And I do believe the amount of debt is probably going to come down, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. But you could see the definite direction that we're heading in right now, and you could see the boom is coming. And Trump, I do believe, has timed this perfectly, because we're approaching the midterms, and I do believe this is going to be the catalyst to get the people on the side of Trump. Remember, everything revolves around taking control of the House and Senate, because again, if we're going to get rid of the Federal Reserve, if we're going to take complete and utter control of this economic system, we just can't fix a couple things and say, okay, hopefully this works, because again, we've seen this in the past. I mean, think about Reaganomics. Things looked pretty darn good back then, but what happened? Everything was reversed. We need laws. We need amendments. We need to make sure that the deep state, the central bankers, can never, ever do this again. And I do believe that's where this is all headed. This is not just about 4 years, making everything look pretty good so another person can come in and just change everything. I do believe this time around, it's very, very different. This time around, it's about removing the structure of the entire central bank system that was put into place all the way back in 1913. And this time around, it's to give the economic power back to the people. And I do believe that's the change that we see coming right now. And I do believe that everything is about to change. And I think this is why Trump and the Patriots, they decided to lean on cryptocurrency, because this is going to give them an advantage that they've never, ever had before. You see, before cryptocurrency, what did you have? You had gold, you had silver, and the central bankers, they knew how to control that. They knew how to manipulate. They knew how to use gold and silver to their advantage. This time around, cryptocurrency was created in 2008, and we've never seen anything like this before. And actually, you could see that cryptocurrency is basically battling against the fiat currency every step of the way. And I do believe this is going to give the Trump administration the ammunition that he needs to attack the central bank system and actually bring it to heel and actually restructure it into the Treasury. So I do believe that's where all of this is headed. And we can see that the economy is about to boom in 2026. And as the economy gets better and better and better, Trump is going to be making moves against the central bank system. In the end, the central bank system will cease to exist the way we know it today. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.